Welcome to Tell Me Something Good, the podcast where we shine a light on the incredible ways Christ Greensboro is sharing God's boundless love with our community and beyond.
Yeah, that's right. From inspiring mission projects to heartwarming stories of generosity and service, we're here to celebrate the good news happening right here at Christ Greensboro.
I'm Lori Gray.
And I'm Robert Joe. Together we'll dive into the ministries, partnerships, and people that are making a difference every single day.
So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let us tell you something good.
Welcome back.
Oh my gosh, I am so ready for the second half. I just can't stand it. Okay.
For you listeners who are like, why are you welcoming me back? This is the first time I've heard this shenanigans. Or why are you welcoming me back? It's been a week. We are so glad that you're back for part 2 of 30 things that I, Robert, the Director of Media and Marketing here at Christ United Methodist Church, have learned in my 30 years of life. And I'm joined by the wonderful and beautiful Lori Gray, who's our Director of Communications, Connections, and Generosity. Say that 3 times fast. I dare you. And because my birthday was last week, we are just kind of sitting here and sharing about some truths that I found in my life and kind of how they might relate to Lori's or how they might relate to yours. And we don't claim for them to be true for you, but we hope that you will just have some time to sit and share space with us.
Yes, and if you have no idea what we're talking about, go back and listen to the previous weeks.
Yes.
You can get the first 15
Yes.
and then come back and listen to the second half of your list.
Yeah, so let's jump right into
I'm ready.
number 16.
Number 16.
I read this one on a social media post once, and I loved it. It said, vulnerability, automatic winner in my book, vulnerability invites or creates holy intimacy.
I love that. I think vulnerability is so important. That and authenticity.
Yeah.
The ability to just be yourself and let people see who you are. Because you are worthy and valuable and...
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Number 17. This is not directed at me or you. Just keep that in mind.
Oh, no.
The loudest person in the room is rarely the most confident. I'm not saying that I'm ever overly confident
I mean,
or not
we did
loud.
get a text message from Lynn one time saying, kind of alerting us to not be crazy when we came in. I mean, I know I can be
It was
loud.
very helpful, honestly.
I mean, I don't think we're loud.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, when you're in a social setting and there's someone that's just off their rocker
just
loud.
boisterous and like...
And it's like, I'm thinking about you, genuinely. Like, I'm thinking of you because you need to work through some things, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, number 18. And I have to preface this by saying...
Uh-oh.
No, it's not bad. Don't look at me like that.
I always feel like I'm going to get called out or something.
No, don't worry.
Okay.
So when it comes to like dealing with clutter around the house...
Oh boy, I am getting called out.
Okay, maybe you are actually. When it comes to dealing with clutter in my house, I tell myself, don't put it down, put it away.
Yes, now, I can say that I do try to do that. Like, it's like when you are folding clothes, or, instead of just picking them up and moving them, like you've got your hands on them, let's fold it and put it away. Now, does that happen all the time? No. I mean, it's just, anyway, it's life. Okay.
Well, I found like with my ADD, it's like I'm washing a couple dishes and I'm like, oh, I need to go put that blanket in the wash because the wash is going to run for an hour. It's just, I'm all over the place. And when I walk into the house, don't put it down, put it away.
Yeah.
It's helped me. It truly has. And it helps kind of preserve my headspace. Number 19 is going to be a good one.
Tired.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Number 19 is good. You're allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work of art simultaneously.
Oh, yeah.
Again, shared life experience has taught me this.
I mean,
I just feel like, are you going to say something?
No, yeah.
I feel like so often culture, whatever culture you want to think about, tells you that you must have it all put together and all like Instagram worthy and all of this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yes, I can be pulled together, but I'm also fighting to be a work in progress as well.
I think that, there are very few times where I'm just like, oh, yeah, this is I mean, and, you know, everything's perfect. As it lasts for like a minute, maybe. And it
Truly.
just feels like I'm just in constant, you know, trying to work through things and make things right. And yeah, it's just, there's always, it's life. And nobody is perfect.
Yeah.
Nobody. And if they tell you that their life is perfect, they lying.
Start
I
looking
mean,
into
well,
it. Yeah.
I mean, nobody's life is perfect. It's
Sure.
just not. So anyway, okay, sorry.
You're good. We have made it to number 20.
20.
The 20th thing, not in this order, that I've learned in my 20s, or in my 30 years of life. Gosh, I can't even think I'm so old now. I love this one. So
Okay.
just listen to it. I might read it to you twice.
Okay,
because I just
I'll
really love
meditate on it.
Okay. Rather than saying, everything happens for a reason, what if we said, in everything, God is with us? Rather than saying, everything happens for a reason, what if we said, in everything, God is with us?
I like that much better.
I once read an article, which I could probably find and give you, like, if you wanted to read it. It's talking about, like, when you're dealing with someone who's going through a hard time, like grief of any kind.
Right.
Doesn't have to be, like, loss necessarily. Instead of saying, like, oh, like, it's all good, like, it'll get better. I mean, people.
No.
I mean,
It's not
you
all
and I
good in
both,
in that
we've
moment.
all dealt with loss of some kind.
Yeah.
And you don't want to hear that because in the moment, it really, really sucks.
Yeah.
Emphasis, capital S. Like,
Capital
it
U,
really-
capital C,
yeah.
capital K, capital S.
And when I read this article, it was after a friend of mine, her dad had tragically passed, like, or suddenly, and tragically, but had suddenly passed away. And, you know, people, they don't know what to say. I didn't know what to say. I wish I had had this. I decided just to show up for her. But, you know, oftentimes we'll be like, oh, like, everything happens for a reason. Oh.
No. What's the reason?
But I love
No.
the flip of, yes, this is really hard, but in everything, God is with us. Mm-hmm. So,
It's a good reminder. I have struggled with, you know, people in my life that are, you know, I love all people, and so some of them that have come in and out of my life, and some are still in my life, or do not believe in God. They're agnostic or
Sure.
atheist or, you know, whatever. And you know, a lot of times the ones who are atheists would say, well, why, if there was a God, they wouldn't let this happen.
sure.
My response to that is, no, God doesn't control that. God gives you something to do in those hard moments,
Kind of in response to.
in response to, and something to focus on that can bring good into your life. They don't take the cancer away. They don't bring the
Sure.
person back, but
Yeah.
God's with you in that time if you let them be with you.
Yeah.
But you've got to let it. You've
Yeah.
got to let it. You've got to sit in that moment with God and let them be with you. So, anyway, okay. Whew.
21.
I'm gonna need a nap after this.
I know. It's a little emotionally exhausting.
Yeah, it's
Number
good though.
21. Don't just compliment people to their faces, do it behind their back too.
Yes, I love that. I told Pastor Nikki today, you know, I something that is one of my pet peeves. I had a person in my life one time that used to just would just say things, and I would be like, that is such a lie. Like, that, you don't believe that in your heart, and that is so insincere. If I tell you, you know, if I compliment you on something, like, I mean it.
Yeah.
It's for real. I'm not just saying it just to make you feel good. Like,
Yeah.
I sincerely mean it. Or if I tell you I love you, I love you.
Know
I'm
that
not
I
just
mean
saying
that.
it. I mean
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I mean it. So, anyway, okay.
Number 22. Often boundaries offend the people that are the reason why you've set them in the first place.
Yep.
Need we explain?
We do. Look, carry on. Next.
We have flipped to the back of the
Yes.
page. We are on the home stretch, friends and neighbors.
Yep, and that goes along with don't chase people.
Yes, and it really goes
If
along
they
with like
wanna-
number 12 and number 14
And
I
all
mean,
that,
just
yeah. If
really
they
all
want
of
to,
them.
if they want to be with you, they will find the time.
Yeah, and you have to find peace in that too.
Right.
Okay. Number 24, just because I'm grieving doesn't mean that I cannot be brave too.
Yeah.
This is not something that I told myself. I heard this somewhere. I appreciate this. I do.
And when you're grieving, you have to be brave.
Yeah. Well, and I've always been told that grief is proof that love exists.
Right.
So,
You were already brave. You love somebody that deeply. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's a good one.
24. Okay.
Oh, no.
24 is every single moment with your grandparents is a gift. And it is a treasure, so get off your phone.
Yes.
And I cannot talk about that without crying. So,
Okay. Well,
if you'd like to say something, you're welcome to.
I
I'm gonna
will,
pull
because
myself together.
I don't have any of my grandparents
Yeah.
left, and I just lost. Well, not Uncle Frank passed away in June of last year, and he was like my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And back in my day,
Mm-hmm.
there were no phones,
Sure.
right? No cell phones. Or phones. I'm not that old.
We had
Let me make you laugh.
carrier pigeons.
See, now I made you laugh. You're not crying anymore. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So there was no distraction. So, when we go see my grandparents in Mount Airy, and I would sit in the den with my grandfather and watch wrestling or
Wrestling?
Wrestling, yeah.
That's
Roddy
not wrestling
Piper.
where you're from.
I mean, it's wrestling.
Wrestling.
So, I didn't have that distraction.
Sure. We all know how precious life is. We've talked about it many times, and I'm not saying that I regret anything, but I do have this deep understanding and appreciation for being
It's awesome.
present.
Well,
So,
that's good.
okay. Number 26. Do not linger on criticism from someone you would not take advice from, Lori Gray.
Okay, listen. Is that Brene Brown?
Probably is.
Or Jen Hatmaker? I've heard they have said that.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure everybody has said that.
Most of these are things that I've learned because I've been taught them, not because I've conjured them in my head.
Right.
So thank you to all those who
I
contributed.
think I heard. It was one of those two that talked about that very thing, that the criticism, for some reason, you can get all of this
Yep.
praise and all of these things, and you say thank you and you move on, or you like me, I get embarrassed by it and I don't know how to, anyway.
Uh-huh.
But the second somebody says something bad, it jumps on me like
And
a
it
spider
becomes a
monkey,
truth.
and it hangs on me, and I'm doing much better with saying, you know what, I mean, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's something I can learn from.
Sure.
And so I take that and I make the change if I need to. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's criticism everywhere.
Yes.
Anyway, okay, we don't
No,
need
no,
to dwell
no.
on that.
I was going to
'cause
say, I could say more, but I won't. Number 27. Here we go.
oh, we're getting close to the end. I'm gonna be so
I
sad.
know. We'll just have to keep gabbing anyways. Okay. Number 27 says, you can have two emotions at the same time and they can both be valid. Like being full on Thanksgiving and also wanting to eat your dessert. I had to make it a little bit happy.
Yeah. Yep.
My dear, sorry, I cut you off, but I can't forget to say this. In the first episode, I talked about my friend Amy. I have many friends that I love and care for, but this is just a very specific example. And so, my dear, dear friend Rebecca, we've grown up together, and I've seen her become a mother and all these kind of wonderful things. And oh my gosh, I'm feeling so emotional right now. Okay, so
In your 30 years, it's because it's only
the
going to
older
get
we
worse.
get, the more
It's only
emotional
gonna
we
get
get.
worse.
Oh my gosh, I'm just going to be a
why didn't you
blubbering
bring
mess.
a box of tissues in here?
Okay.
There's some Clorox wipes, but don't use that.
Something that I learned from my friend Rebecca, something that she said so kindly and so simply one time. She's like, you should say, I'm happy and I'm this. Like I'm happy and I'm sad. Not like, oh, I'm happy. I'm trying to think of how she said it. But basically, like, you can be joyful and hurting at the same time. Or you can be joyful and grieving. Or you can be joyful and nervous. Because there's great joy in this moment, but like you have the heaviness of this other. Does that make sense?
Yes, because, well, first of all, joy lives in your heart. So you have that. If you have joy, you have it with you always.
Yes.
Now, you can be happy and sad at the same time too. Like if you're sitting in, I went to a celebration of life yesterday, and I honestly, I did not know this beautiful girl, but I know her parents, and so I was, listening to her fiance talk about her, and so sad. But at the same time, I was like, she was a lot of fun. Like, I wish I had gotten to hang out with her because we could have had a lot of fun. Right? So it was both the happy and the sad, and grateful, sad and grateful. So sad that she's not in this earthly life with us anymore. But so grateful for that, all of those funny things and the memories that she left with them. And I mean, there were a lot of laughs, a lot of tears, of course, but I mean, I think funerals are a great example of that, like having all of those emotions. I mean, it's like a roller coaster. But I think for me, I try to have joy no matter.
Yeah.
It's just gotten in me.
There you go. Well, don't let anybody steal it from you.
I don't let anybody steal my joy.
People
It's
try
mine.
to do it all the time. Number 28, my friend.
28.
Time is your currency and everything is temporary, and you'll never regret spending time with the people that you love. I know these kind of all are the same, but these are all separate thoughts.
It's just good reinforcement reminders of,
Number 29. Ooh,
no.
y'all, we are getting to the end. Kindness is cool, and similarly, kind people are my kind of people.
Yes, I love that one. Yeah.
And number 30 is kind of what you just talked about. Life is short, so be the first to apologize, call your mom, and if you don't have a good relationship with your mother, some people don't, call a loved one.
Yep.
Someone that you care about, doesn't have to be a parent. So life is short, be a first to apologize, call your mother, make memories, not money, and just for crying out loud, love yourself.
Yes.
So.
There's only one of you.
Yes.
And God said we need one of you. Yeah. So that last one, call, make sure you're calling your parents.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I heard this, but they were talking about how when somebody pops in your mind, that you should reach out to them.
Yeah.
And I've tried to be a lot more intentional about that.
Sure.
About when somebody crosses my mind, I'll reach out. And more times than not, they've been like, "Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about you," or "I'm so glad you called. I'm having a rough day." Depending on. But it's I've tried to be a lot better about that because I have people cross my mind all the time, or used to, and I would just be like, "Oh, I wonder how they're doing." I don't wonder. I pick up the phone and call them.
It's so just interesting to think about, all those encounters that you have had, and you're like, oh, what if I hadn't called? I mean, nothing necessarily would have majorly changed, but look at the joy that you brought to that person, or the connection, or the understanding that they are seen.
Yeah.
Even when they don't feel like it.
It's like a little gift. I mean, somebody says, so we've talked about this before. I collect hearts, not hearts, but
heart-shaped items.
Heart-shaped items, rocks. I love to find heart-shaped rocks out in nature, things in nature that are shaped like a heart. And I love that I'll get a text message or a Facebook message or an Instagram. Like somebody will just share a post or a picture or something, and they're like, "Oh, this made me think of you," and I'm like, what? Like that just is a little gift. That somebody reached out, even just with that, that. So when somebody crosses your mind and you reach out to them, it's hopefully a little gift to them that somebody is thinking about me.
Yeah.
Because you never know, they could be in a really bad spot, and just knowing that somebody is thinking of them could make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So. So I love this list. I love it. I know you're going to keep it forever because you're sentimental like that, and you should. So I have to tell you, I will not do this to the listeners. the listeners. I think we have a few now.
I think it's plural now, yes.
Yeah, we can say
We're
listeners.
grateful for that.
We are. That makes me happy too. So I started this when I was in my 20s, and I kept a notebook, not a notebook, a binder. And when I would get like a recognized at work, or somebody would send me a card, or quotes. There's pages of just quotes in there, and I've kept it. It's a big, just this giant binder, and I used to look at it all the time when I was like in my early 30s. I've always kept it with me. I haven't looked at it in years. Maybe I'll go home and get it out and see if there's anything
that's a special
fun.
thing to do.
I don't know. Yeah, and maybe I'll have to go look at that. But it's not. I guess in a way I was doing that. It's like all the little bits of wisdom and happiness and joy that I've collected in my life, and I probably I've got stuff to add to it. Maybe I need to go home and pull it out and add some things because I've got lots of things to add to it. One other thing I will say that people say comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
And it is, but also expectation. We put expectations, and some like expectations that are not realistic.
Sure.
Or expectations of a situation. Huge example is Christmas, parents and Christmas. And they think they're going to have this perfect Christmas, and their kids are going to come bounding down the stairs, and the joy and really I mean you do get that every once in a while, but also then you're just disappointed if it doesn't go exactly like you want it. So
absolutely,
along with your thing about being present, just be present in the moment and appreciate where you are, and know that this is the only moment like that you're going to have.
It's also temporary.
It is. It is also, and the good is temporary, the bad is temporary. And you can't know joy without sadness.
This is a funny side story for you if you made it this far in the episode. There was one time Lori and I were sitting in her front yard at a picnic table enjoying the weather, and we had the idea to get a permanent tattoo of the word temporary. Truly in the sentimental way of like reminding ourselves that everything is temporary, but it's very funny that it's a permanent tattoo that says temporary.
Well,
so
Abby's friend has one, right?
Oh, does she?
Yes.
She
okay. Has it. Yeah, she got temporary on her.
Funny,
it's very funny, but temporary tattoo, but it's supposed to be. Anyway, it's very funny. We laugh a lot in the front yard.
Yeah.
So,
well,
this has been lovely.
From me to you, Lori, and dear listener, thank you for spending time with me and loving me in all the ways that I need it, even when I don't deserve it necessarily. And
no, we all deserve to be loved.
True.
Unconditionally.
Even when it's a little bit more difficult. But this is something that I really have enjoyed putting together. And when Lori and I were chit-chatting in the hallway, I kind of shot her the idea. She said yes. And we ran with it. So,
well, what you did was, you're like, I have an idea.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
Lori
I'm in.
loves
Let's
an
do
idea.
it. I'm like,
Lori loves an
adventure.
idea.
Yeah. I'm always down for some, adventures. So,
well, mark your calendars for 30 years from now, everybody. I will be back with 60 things I've learned in 60 years. If you're still here, you get a prize. It'll probably just be a high five for me.
I don't know if I'll be here or not. That's a long time.
Don't talk about that. It makes me sad.
So, we are so glad that you are here, and we would love to hear from you. If you want to learn, again, we're part of Christ United Methodist Church here in Greensboro, North Carolina. We typically talk about things that have been going on in the church and tell you what's coming up. And we just wrapped up Holy Week, and so we're and Rob, of course, has turned 30, and so we decided to do a couple of special episodes to honor him on his big 3-0.
3-0.
And so we'll be back next week with regular stuff, maybe. I mean, what's really regular with us? It's all kind of crazy. But if you want to learn more about Christ United Methodist Church and what's going on around here, you can visit our website at christgreensboro.org. Or if you have questions for us or heard something or want Rob's list, you can email us at info@christgreensboro.org, and we will send you what we know. But better than that, come see us.
Yeah, we would love to spend time with you. We'd love to just get to know you, whether that means you're coming here for the first time or you're a member here and have been for longer than Laura and I've been on staff. We would just love the chance to get to chat with you and get to know you better. And so we would love to invite you to one of our 2 weekly worship service offerings, and that is 9 a.m. in our fellowship center, which is with our praise band, and then at 11 a.m. in our beautiful sanctuary with our organ and our chancel choir.
Yes.
So
And-
there's that.
Yes, and these were so good, and I feel
Thank
like
you.
I'm emotionally exhausted now because
I
it
know,
was
I need
like
to go lay down and snuggle my dog.
I know, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was so good.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing your list.
Thank you for being here.
It was so good, and we hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
We have a great week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.